Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, August 28th. The remains of Hurricane Harvey continue to pound Texas and Louisiana with additional torrential rainfall. Perhaps as much as another 15 to 20 inches of rain can fall in some sections over the next 2 or 3 days. It is a very slow mover. It's remains of the circulation center kind of headed towards the open waters of the western Gulf of Mexico. Once again, it could reemerge over the open waters of the western Gulf of Mexico over the next 24 hours or so, perhaps even undergo a little bit of strengthening as it turns to the north and east, perhaps making a second landfall up the coast a bit, northeastern Texas. Late Friday, it made landfall as a hurricane category 4, a major hurricane, the first such type of hurricane, a major hurricane since Hurricane Wilma came ashore in southwestern Florida during October of 2005. Here's the latest projection by the Hurricane Center. Again, the circulation center could very well pull back out, take a loop back out over the open waters of the western Gulf of Mexico and then turn to the north and east, make a second landfall, certainly not nearly as strong as on Friday, up the coast in northeastern Texas, and then continue to move to the north and east over the latter part of the week, weakening on its way. But for the next couple of days, more torrential rainfall anywhere from eastern Texas all the way across to much of Louisiana, perhaps an additional 15 to 20 inches. Here's the latest look from an infrared point of view, a colorized infrared. Again, the circulation center right in this region right here, kind of sliding to the south and east. It could end up back out over the Gulf of Mexico. The heaviest rain right now over eastern Texas and Louisiana right here. You see this plume of moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. Again, that's the problem. The continuation of moisture flowing northward out of the Gulf of Mexico into Texas and Louisiana, not only today, but probably tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Probably not till Thursday or Friday that we get some true relief in that part of the country. Well, what we saw with that colorized IR are the higher clouds associated with the rainfall. And here is the radar, which shows the rainfall. Again, very soaking rain now in Louisiana, as well as the eastern part, southeastern part of Texas. Not quite as significant right now in Galveston and the Houston area, but still they're getting some rainfall, and certainly will continue to get some heavy rainfall over the next few days. The steadiest stuff right now is over Louisiana and the extreme part, eastern part of Texas. But again, another 15 to 20 inches of rain, and the greatest fears of last week were upwards of 4 feet of rain, and it looks like that is certainly coming to fruition. Some areas could end up with 40 to 50 inches of rain from Harvey when all is said and done later this week. Well, let's walk through last night's 6Z GFS model run. Not only do we have Harvey sitting over Texas, but we have another tropical system along the southeastern coastline of the U.S. That is showing up right here. That'll push to the north and east over the next 24 hours or so, perhaps reaching tropical storm status. If so, it would be named Irma. There's some debate as to whether or not it's a true tropical system by the time it reaches the outer banks of North Carolina, or a kind of a hybrid, and that'll determine whether it actually gets named. Nonetheless, it'll be a pretty strong storm by the time it reaches the outer banks, and it'll spread some decent rainfall into southeastern Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, southern New Jersey, before it finally pulls out to sea to the north and east by the time later Wednesday rolls around. Let's push ahead on 6-hour increments. This is this morning. The remains of Harvey right along the Gulf coastline, and another tropical system here in the extreme southeastern part of Georgia. Let's push ahead 6 hours. Harvey continues to spin back out over the open waters. Meanwhile, the second tropical system pushes up along the southeastern coastline. This is by this evening. And let's keep moving forward by Tuesday morning. It's a pretty strong tropical-like storm right over the outer banks of North Carolina, spreading rain up the coastline all the way into D.C. and Delmarva Peninsula. This, again, is by tomorrow morning, high pressure over New England. Meanwhile, Harvey continued to slowly spin along the coastline of Texas with the Gulf of Mexico. Let's keep moving forward here now. By Tuesday evening, rain spreading all the way from D.C. into Philadelphia and even New York City, according to the latest GFS model run. This storm does not then ride up the coast. It starts to turn to the north and east. Meanwhile, Harvey still producing some rainfall in eastern Texas and Louisiana. This is tomorrow night. Now let's move forward here. By Wednesday morning, this system finally pulls away. We ought to have improving conditions on Wednesday, and with increasing amounts of sunshine, it'll turn a bit warmer on Wednesday and even warmer still on Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic region. Meanwhile, Harvey, the remains of Harvey, still producing some rainfall as of Wednesday down in Texas and Louisiana. Finally, as we move into Thursday morning, this still sitting over eastern Texas, cold front approaching the Mid-Atlantic region. This will finally start to make a turn to the north and east at this point. And here we go by Friday morning. It's starting to pull away from the extreme southern part of Texas and Louisiana. Still a very slow mover. This is Friday morning. The remains of Harvey still seen here on the Arkansas-Texas border. That's how slow of a mover it is. Meanwhile, nice Canadian high pressure pushes into the Mid-Atlantic region by the end of the work week, and it looks like for the upcoming weekend we'll have a cool start here in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. But the big story, still Harvey producing some additional torrential rainfall over the next 2 or 3 days down in that region, even into Thursday and Friday in parts of the Deep South. That's it for now for VencoreWeather.com. I'm meteorologist